Simon Zelotes, and Judas of James. Judas, the brother of James. So those three I submit to you, and then added on to those, Judas Iscariot, who delivered him up. So several Judases right in a row there, and you'll have to work on that, but I think that those three are certainly supposed to be the family of Jesus. That is James Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas of James. The letter of Jude, how is Jude referred to? It's actually referred to as Jude and Judas are all the same word in Greek. There's no Jude, there's only Judas. Jude is not Jude and Jude is Judas. It's all Judas. He's called Judas, the brother of James. So let's go back to John 12 here to finish these episodes here. So I guess we'll have to do the resurrection material next time. Any case, now it's Judas Iscariot, as we already saw last time, who says, "Why was this ointment not sold for 300 pieces of silver and given to the poor?" 300 pieces of silver. The very next line in the synoptics from that episode, we say, what's going to happen to Judas? He's going to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Now it says sold for 300 pieces of silver. What did the parallel material in the, I'm getting confused here. Did it say 300 pieces of silver in the other ones? I can't remember.
Mark said 300.
Yeah, 300. Well, so these numbers float about, up and down with extra or less zeros. And we'll see that the material applied to Judas selling Jesus for 30 pieces of silver is given as a reference to the prophet Jeremiah, I think, when in fact it's supposed to be Zechariah. What it means, but in the scripture it's called Jeremiah, but in fact it is Zechariah, and we'll look at that next time. Anyway, Jesus does pick up the theme of his coming burial, like he did in the previous episodes. Now he did not say this because he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and he had the purse. Okay, Judas didn't care about the poor. He was a thief, the narrator wants us to know. So this Judas is just demonized, pejoricized, and to add insult to injury, now he's a thief and has control of the purse. And he's just a horrid person from beginning to end. Well, the new gospel of Judas Iscariot that has recently been found in the Nag Hammadi materials puts that one right and shows that people were just writing these materials in the way they wanted to spin them. Another now gospel of Judas has appeared, and now Judas is doing exactly what Jesus wants him to do, and Judas and Jesus have very friendly, philosophical, Neoplatonic chats, and Judas is the most perfect of all the apostles, and has done nothing wrong at all, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I say, well, that's just apocryphal material. No, this is all in the process of formation at that time. What makes one apocryphal and John not apocryphal? These things are all being thrown in the air and competing with each other according to who's writing them. So, I mean, where's the history is what we're looking for. Well, I'm not sure. You can find it if you want, but I'm not sure I found it yet. In any case, Judas is a thief, and now he's the one saying this, not the apostles or the other disciples, as in Mark and Matthew's. Which episode was that in Mark and Matthew? I can't remember. Was it the episode at Simon the leper's house? Was that where it was? Or was it the episode, the episode at Simon the leper's house, I think, where totally confused. And that was the house in Bethany. All this is in Bethany notes. So these are not separate episodes. The Simon the leper house is in Bethany. This is in Bethany. The statement, it should have been given to the poor, is in Bethany. So these are not separate episodes. So where's the history? You decide. Any case, line 10. But the chief, then a great crowd of Jews learned that he was there, and they came, not only because of Jesus, but that they may also see Lazarus, whom he raised from the dead. But the chief priests plotted together so they might also put, now the chief priests want to put Lazarus to death. Because many of the Jews were leaving and unbelieving on Jesus because of him. I can't go further with that particular passage. You may not find that odd. But, you know, now, before we heard the priests want to put Jesus to death or do something to Jesus so that the people might live because the Romans might come away and take their country. And in chapter 11, we heard that the people believed on Jesus because they saw what Jesus did with Lazarus. Now in chapter 12, at the end, the chief priests now want to put Lazarus to death because they might, because many of the Jews were believing on Jesus because of him. I leave that to you to work out for yourself. In any case, we then get the material of Jesus going up to Jerusalem in John. So we do come into the final section of the denouement of John at this point, and all of them more or less agree with each other. Okay, so next time we will work on the materials in all the Gospels, particularly the post-resurrection sightings. Now the point again of what I'm doing here is to see where can we find the historicity here. And if you can find the historical Jesus here out of these contradictory and odd materials, all floating around different similar themes, then that would be a good thing. I'm not yet, for me, again, if you want to know who the historical Jesus was, somebody was crucified. That's what Paul knows, and came to a bad end. Somebody was crucified who was very popular among the people, who the people were very concerned about, and members of his family succeeded him in the leadership of the movement he was involved in. That is the historical kernel that I can pull out of materials in Paul and elsewhere. Now, do these materials in the Gospels add to this? So far I haven't seen that they do add to it. If there is something here that does add to it, please tell me when you find it. Anyway, question? Okay, I've counted you all. I didn't mean to make you angry before Christmas. See you next time. Just take this as the counter position. Don't enjoy doing this.